This tutorial covers fictional film with young adult protagonists. Your first task is going to be to read the instructions and then select a film that interests you. Let's look at these directions together. As soon as you locate the film that you want to watch and you know that you have access to that film by streaming, by DVD, in whatever way you have located that film to watch, you will want to go into the discussion board titled Lock Your Fictional Film, and you will lock that topic. Again, you'll put your name and you're locking the film, and that way no one else can use it. Before you lock that film, be sure to scroll up and down the entries for that particular board and make sure you're not using a film that's already been selected. If I see two films selected on the same film, I will take the one that was entered first, and the other student would need to find another film. So make sure you find something unique and that interests you. I don't care if it was made in 2017. I don't care if it was made in 2019. I don't care if it was made in 1920. You can find the film that interests you. Attached in this module are some links to websites that contain titles for you to consider. By no means is this an exclusive list, but it's a place to start. If the links don't work, simply copy this URL and paste it into your browser and take a look through that and see if any of those interest you. Remember that the protagonist of your film must be between the ages of 10 to 19. For example, Buck, the protagonist of Call of the Wild, is a young dog. That works. Nick, the protagonist of Beautiful Boy, is 16, and that works. Elizabeth, who is the protagonist of Pride and Prejudice, is 20. Now that's kind of close, but I'd still accept it because she's going through an adolescent struggle with her life and what her life goals are. Joe, the protagonist of Lassie Comes Home, which was, I believe, produced in 1947, is 10 years old, and that works. So just make sure that your protagonist is within the correct age range. You do not need to email me for permission. This is a college course. Any film you choose that meets the criteria is going to be acceptable so long as no one else has chosen that film. I completely trust you. Now, here's the distinction. There are a million Harry Potter films. Since only one protagonist can be claimed, only one person can choose one of those films. Anyone, it doesn't matter to me, about Harry Potter. So there's only going to be one essay written about Harry Potter. I know that I'm going to make some people unhappy with that, but there are millions and millions and millions of other films to choose from. Same thing goes with like superheroes. There's a lot of Spider-Man movies, but only one student may choose any of those films about Spider-Man or any of the other things. So if you've chosen a protagonist for which there are numerous films, only one person can use that protagonist. There is not going to be any exceptions to that, so please don't ask me. Now that you've watched your film, you're going to open a Word document that you'll later save as a PDF, and you're going to write 2 paragraphs. You're going to write a thematic statement, you're going to include a title image, and you're going to include 1 or 2 images of the protagonist learning the lesson that the protagonist needs to learn. Note, and this is very important, I want to make sure that all of you see this. For this project, the content is going to be in your own words. I want your ideas, not something copied and pasted from a source. This essay demonstrates your ability to comprehend the deeper meaning in the film, and that is the meaning of critical thinking. Please, y'all, do not copy and paste from the internet. Plagiarism software will pick it up in an instant, and you will receive a 0 for the assignment. So if you copy and paste anything into your document, I will see it, and your essay will receive a 0. Your short essay is going to look like this. Now, I'm going to use one with an adult theme. You'll be finding one, of course, with a young adult theme, an adolescent theme. And you're going to proofread this whole thing, save it as a PDF, and then submit it. As always, name, date, fictional film, young adult. The word count goes here. There's your title. Under the title is an image that represents the protagonist. Now, people are often tempted to put a title image that is the film. That's fine if that image shows the protagonist. But this whole essay has to do with that young adult and the lessons that that young adult must learn. So the title image needs to show that in whatever way you have decided. Under that, you will write the theme. And just to be sure, go ahead and highlight that theme so I can see it plain and clear. So for this choice that I made, the theme is, it is better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all. And I made that theme up myself. I did not find that from the internet. I didn't find that from any other source. That's the theme that I see as I study this particular film. Now, the first paragraph I got started and went through, and of course I will go on and explain the story of this film. The second paragraph, I go into the theme. What does the protagonist learn in this film? And I go through and I describe that. And that's it. That's the end of my essay. Again, I save it as a PDF after I've proofread it clearly. Make sure that I use formal language. This is a formal essay, so I don't want to use folksy language. And I want to make sure that I include high resolution images. If I use black and white, then they're all black and white. If I use color, then they're all color. But you'll notice that the images that I selected all have basically the same color type scheme. Yes? So go over these instructions as many times as you need and select any film that interests you where the protagonist is a young adult, aged 10 to 19. Again, you do not need to email me for permission. I trust that you will find an appropriate film. The only thing you need to make sure of is that nobody else has chosen that title. That concludes this tutorial. This is a wonderful opportunity for you to showcase your own brilliance and make your own determinations about what protagonist you have chosen, the lesson they need to learn, how they go about learning that lesson, and a thematic statement about the lesson that protagonist learned. Have a good time with this one.